Hi, I'm just jumping on today to think about goal setting for your homeschool. Maybe you're just starting out, maybe you're homeschooling a few years. I just finished this spring with my youngest, so now I'm done. I have no fall prep to do. And one hand, I'm really excited for all the different opportunities God's going to have in front of me. The other part of me is really sad because this has been my life for so long. But my kids are doing great, so I'm very excited. Goal setting. Okay, so here's the big deal with goal setting. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail. Benjamin Franklin, not me. So you got all the lesson plans done, the curriculum, the new pens, the new everything. You've figured out maybe the yearly plan for different subjects throughout the year, your unit studies, whatever. And that's great. But I want you to step back and think, what do I want to have instilled in my kids by the time they leave my home at 18? Because some of mine have left, they've got married, they've gone on, and I've seen how things that we address, think about what it is that is really key for your family, and it'll be different for every family. What's key for your family when you hand them that diploma at 18 that you feel responsible to have instilled in them? And number one, as a Christian parent, obviously you want them to love God. You want them to expose them to as much as of the life of God as you can. And that looks different for every family. Two, I would say having relationships within your family. I'm a firm believer in, if you've got multiple kids, like I did, that God gives you these kids and sets them in your family. They are a gift. They are a reward, it says in Psalm 127. He placed them. He chose them. He chose the birth order. And if they can get along with each other and all the different personalities, then I really truly believe they can get along with anybody that they'll encounter in their lives. Building and nurturing those relationships between siblings. Maybe these two siblings don't get along. Maybe it's time for them to room together. Maybe these two siblings, they just have issues. And so you need to teach them how to deal with that kind of a personality. Teaching them property rights. You can't just take your brother's new toy because it was in your room. I can't just walk next door and borrow my neighbor's BMW just because I want to drive a BMW. There are property rights in life. So the next thing would be to foster a love of learning. So you probably have children that love workbooks, hate workbooks, love artwork, love crafts. And so if you can teach your children in a way that makes them love it rather than getting this burnout. Like I see so many families with so many workbooks, so much busy work, big box curriculum, and their kids by third grade are dying and the parents are dying because they're fighting their kids every day. So if you figure out how your kid really loves to learn, whether maybe they're super auditory, maybe they're very visual, maybe they just, if they can craft it, they'll learn it. Obviously there's some subjects that you can't do that with, but instilling them a love of learning, give them so many tactile field trip opportunities, especially in the K through 6th grade range, so that instilling them a love of learning. I had a child who wouldn't pick up a crayon until he was probably 8 years old. He didn't want to draw, but ended up being super artistic, only it was in a visual realm with photography and videography. We instilled in him a love of learning. We didn't know all these things, so we showed him how to learn them. Further on in his life, he has now taught himself a lot of coding, a lot of AI, and now he's in a career that he wasn't trained in, but he's thriving in it because he figured out how to learn it, right? Okay, so think to yourself, what am I really aiming for this year in light of what I need them to learn by the time they leave my house? Stand back from the trees and look at the big picture. And then on top of that, not to overwhelm you all, but think about each of your children in light of their particular struggles. Maybe one struggles with telling lies. Maybe one struggles with talking too much. Maybe one struggles with not talking enough or communicating how they're feeling or what's going on in their lives. Each of your children will have unique struggles, just like I do. And we're here to be their shepherd, and we're giving this stewardship as a parent. And so think about each of your kids, how you can pour into them this year. Maybe look for some resources for that particular thing, or maybe it's just a book of the Bible. Maybe it's something that your husband could address with them. So anyway, that is my advice to you. I do have a short homeschool course where I just I am just the veteran mom pouring in 2 hours as much as I possibly could. And the link for that is in the description. And if you want more like this, go ahead and like and subscribe.